Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we're tackling a hurdle that literally every growing business hits at some point, but honestly, very few truly understand it until it's almost too late. I'm talking about SOC compliance. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by a sea of security jargon or felt that intense pressure of having to prove your data is actually secure, well, you are exactly in the right place.
So can you prove your systems are safe? It's a massive, universal pain point for modern companies. Just picture this. You're right at the finish line of a huge enterprise deal. The whole team is celebrating, and then out of nowhere, their procurement team drops this 100-page security questionnaire on your desk. I mean, this thing weighs as much as a small dog. Suddenly, deals stall. Momentum just completely dies. Well, today, we're going to look at how SOC compliance is actually the ultimate solution to this nightmare, transforming a giant sales roadblock into a huge strategic advantage.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our jargon-free roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The foundation of trust, 2. The 3 SOC report types, 3. The 5 trust service criteria, 4. Type 1 versus Type 2, 5. The SOC audit process, and finally, number 6, the ROI of compliance.
Section 1. The foundation of trust. Building confidence in a cloud-based world. You know, the old way of doing business, where you relied on a firm handshake and maybe a physical tour of a data center, that is completely dead. In our cloud-centric world, we need verifiable trust. Enter SOC, or System and Organization Controls. Basically, this is a framework created by the IACPA, where a licensed independent CPA firm formally audits your operations. And let me be clear, this isn't just a simple pass-or-fail sticker you slap on your website. No, it's a rigorous, documented report that proves to your enterprise clients that you are actively protecting their data and that you have the exact right security controls operating effectively behind the scenes. Moving on to Section 2. 3 SOC report types. Finding the right fit for your business.
The easiest way to think about these reports is by who's actually asking for them. So, SOC 1, that's strictly for the finance team. It audits internal controls over financial reporting, like payroll or billing services. Then there's SOC 2, which is for the CTO and the procurement team. If you're a technology or SaaS vendor, SOC 2 is the undisputed gold standard. It focuses squarely on security and privacy, usually kept under strict confidentiality agreements. Finally, we have SOC 3. This one's for your marketing team. It's basically a simplified, non-technical summary of your SOC 2 findings that you can proudly and safely publish right on your public website. But for most of us in the tech space, SOC 2 is exactly what we're chasing.
Section 3. 5 trust service criteria. The backbone of a SOC 2 audit.
I want you to picture a SOC 2 report as a giant pie made up of 5 distinct slices: security, availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, and privacy. Now, it's really important to note here that you don't necessarily want or even need to be audited on all 5 slices. Audits are incredibly expensive and take a ton of time. So the specific criteria you choose depends entirely on the unique services your company provides. That said, one of these slices is absolutely non-negotiable.
And that mandatory foundation is security. Every single SOC 2 audit literally has to include it. Auditors are going to be looking for protections against unauthorized access. We're talking firewalls, intrusion detection, and multi-factor authentication. Next up is availability. Look, if your software goes down, your clients lose money. It's that simple. This criterion guarantees your systems remain operational and accessible exactly as promised. It assesses your uptime monitoring, your data backups, and just how robust your disaster recovery plans are if things go seriously sideways. The remaining 3 criteria really round out the whole framework. Processing integrity ensures your systems process data accurately and completely. This is absolutely crucial if you're handling financial transactions, right? Because a drop 0 there is just catastrophic. Then we have confidentiality, which ensures you're protecting restricted information, like a client's unreleased business plans or their IP. And finally, privacy. This ensures that any personal data you collect is handled legally and safely, strictly following your stated privacy notices to protect the end users.
All right, Section 4. Type I versus Type 2, point in time versus continuous observation.
So what do buyers actually want to see from you? Well, think of a Type I report as a photograph. It's a quick snapshot that examines your controls at a single point in time, just to verify that your policies are designed correctly on that exact day. It's a lot faster to obtain, which makes it a really great starting point for early-stage startups. But a Type 2 report? That's more like a documentary film,
Auditors observe your controls over a continuous 3 to 12-month period. They want to confirm your policies don't just look good on paper, but that they actually work consistently in the real world. Because it proves sustained, ongoing performance, Type 2 is highly preferred, and let's be real, often outright demanded by enterprise procurement teams.
Section 5. The SOC Audit Process, your step-by-step roadmap to certification.
This whole journey happens in 3 main phases. First up is preparation. You select your report type, conduct an internal readiness assessment to figure out where your gaps are, and then do the heavy lifting of remediating those weaknesses and updating your policies. The second phase is the audit itself. You choose a licensed CPA firm, ideally one that really knows your specific industry, and they examine your evidence over the required time frame before handing over your final, formal report. Finally, there's maintenance. Honestly, this is the step so many teams forget. You have to maintain this compliance continuously, all year round. It has to become an ongoing discipline, not just a one-and-done project.
Now, if tracking all of those policies, access logs, and controls manually in giant spreadsheets sounds like an absolute nightmare to you, well, you hit the nail on the head. It completely overwhelms internal teams, and that is exactly why modern businesses rely on SOC compliance software. These platforms connect directly to your cloud infrastructure in your HR systems, and they automatically capture evidence. They'll even flag security gaps before the auditor even walks through the door. It literally saves hundreds of hours of staff time and transforms what used to be a highly stressful manual annual panic attack into a totally manageable, automated routine.
Which brings us to Section 6, the ROI of compliance, turning a hurdle into a strategic advantage.
If there's one thing you take away from this explainer today, it's that SOC compliance is fundamentally a massive revenue driver. Remember that nightmare 100-page security questionnaire we talked about earlier that was holding up your enterprise deal? Well, with SOC 2, you literally just hand them the report. Boom, done. It shortens sales cycles significantly and unlocks incredibly lucrative government, healthcare, and enterprise contracts that you just simply couldn't even bid on otherwise. Plus, on the inside, it improves accountability, builds real organizational resilience, and tangibly reduces the super costly risk of a devastating data breach.
So that brings us to the final question for you and your leadership team to chew on. Are you ready to build verifiable trust? Because in today's data-driven economy, trust isn't just assumed anymore. It has to be audited. Delaying this process carries a very real, painful financial cost in lost deals and stalled growth. The absolute smartest organizations out there don't wait around for a client ultimatum. They start their readiness assessment today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, here's to building systems your clients can implicitly trust.